Hello students, today I am going to discuss about the contribution of four major management thinkers. As per your syllabus, you have to study about the contribution of Mr. F. W. Taylor, Mr. Henry Fayol, Elton Mayo and Peter Drucker. So I have already discussed it in class, but today I'll sort of revise it. I'll give you the important points. In short, it will be a very precise points which will help you in preparing your notes. So I'll discuss all the main points about the contribution of all these four management gurus, or as they are called, father of management. So first of all, I'll take up the contribution of Mr. F. W. Taylor. Now, F. W. Taylor, all of you know, Frederick Winslow Taylor is his full name. He was born on 20th of March 1856 and died 21st of March 1915. He was a mechanical engineer, and most important, he is known as the father of scientific management. Now, scientific management is knowing exactly what you mean to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. Earlier we have studied management is also a science as well as arts. Now we feel that management is a practice. It's much more than a science or an art subject. And different thinkers, different management psychologists or philosophists, they have given different principles regarding management. So Mr. F. W. Taylor, he has given 4 principles and 9 techniques. So first of all, we'll discuss the 4 principles given by Mr. F. W. Taylor. The first principle given by him is management is science, not rule of thumb. Now, rule of thumb, you know, you must have studied in school in class 8 or 9 that there was something like this. If the magnetic field comes from this side and this is the force, then the current will always flow in this direction. Means it is fixed. Whatever happens, it will not change. It is fixed. Rule of thumb means something fixed has to happen. But Mr. Taylor said it is not fixed. And management, Taylor insists that each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific inquiry. There must be thinking before doing. Means it needs to be changed according to the demand of the situation. Taylor believed that there is only one best method to maximize efficiency, and this method can develop through work study. What is work study? We will discuss later on. But he said that there is one best method of doing everything, and you have to find that best method. You cannot follow a fixed rule. So this is the first principle given by him. Now, work study, it is composed of time study, method study, motion study and fatigue study. What are all these? We will discuss in later part of this. So the first one is, you should remember, science and not rule of thumb. Second one is harmony, not discord. It's very obvious. In every organization, there are 2 groups of people. One is the management, the other is the worker, and there is always a conflict between these two groups. What happens? The managers think that the workers are not doing up to their optimum level. They are interested in salaries and they want leaves and holidays. On the other hand, the workers think that the managers are doing nothing, just sitting in the cabin. They don't allow us leave also. They don't give us salary on time, and they are forcing us to do so many work. So this kind of feeling has to be decreased or finished. So the principle of Mr. Taylor, the second principle, says that there should be harmony. The management and the workers should understand each other and work together to increase the efficiency and productivity of the organization. The third is cooperation, not individual. So this is just the extension of harmony, not discord. Means cooperation, everyone should cooperate, everyone should work as a group and not individually, because the objective of the organization is common for everyone. So there should be cooperation. Taylor insists that targets are set up in consultation of workers. Then they will try their best to achieve it. Means the policies or the targets which are given by the management to the workers, Mr. Taylor said that the workers should also be involved in it. If they are taken into consultation for deciding, they will definitely try to achieve it, and it will increase the productivity. Now the fourth one is development of workers to their greatest efficiency. How to develop these workers? Taylor said that they should be given proper training. Workers' efficiency depends upon proper training and selection. Taylor insists that due care should be taken while selecting the employee. Means the management should see the qualification, experience and ability of the workers before selecting. The person should be knowing about the job he has to be offered. And selection, after selection, they must be given job as per their qualification, and with time they should also be given proper training. So these are the four principles given by Mr. Taylor. Science, not rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. Cooperation, not individualism. And development of workers. These are the four principles given by him, which according to him will increase the productivity, the efficiency of the workers. In addition to this, he has given 9 scientific techniques, as he is called the father of scientific management. And he looks at management, the job of management, as science. So the first one he said is that a worker or the management should be divided into 2 parts. Because if one person does all the jobs, the efficiency will decrease, productivity will be negative. So he said there should be 2 departments, one for planning, which will make the policies and all, and the other one will be operations, means functional, production. So the production people don't have to think about the policies or planning, and the planning people will just plan and they don't have to care for the production. So he said that the work should be divided into one planning and other production, and there should be heads of each department. Both the departments should be divided into 4 parts, and every part should lead by 4 foremen or supervisors. In planning department, there should be one disciplinarian who will look after the discipline, means proper execution of work. Second will be instruction card clerk, who will give instructions what to do, and he'll supervise the works, what the workers are doing. The third one is route clerk. He'll be looking after the process of doing work. And fourth one is time and cost clerk, who will look after the time taken by the workers, the cost, whether it is exceeding or it is proper, all these things. And on the other hand, the production department should also have 4 heads. First one should be gang boss, who will take overall control of the group production team. Second will be inspector. His job is similar to that of instruction card clerk of planning. Then a repair boss, who will look after the machinery, that all the machineries are working properly, perfectly, where repair is required, timely repairing should be done. And fourth one is speed boss. Again, he will look after the time, the speed of the production process. Second technique, he said, standardization and simplification of work. Standardization means the shape, size, design of the product, the packaging, all these things should be standardized. Means you cannot, if you are producing a soap, you will not produce a soap bigger in size, or one round in shape and one square in shape. It should be of standard type, standardized. So this thing should be maintained. And simplification of works means elimination of unnecessary diversity of product. Means product size or types, you don't need to have unnecessary. Like, there is an example, there was a paper manufacturing company in the USA which was manufacturing 200 types of papers, but its market share was very low, sales was very low. So they decided that they will reduce this 200 to 20 types of papers, and after that the business clicked, increased. So unnecessary production of more items than required by the market should be avoided. So this is standardization and simplification of work. Third one is fatigue study. Fatigue means tiredness. So naturally, in the morning, a person who starts the work in the morning is very energetic, very fresh. He will work very fast and with more energy. But as the time passes, his body feels tired. So the worker should be given a rest for some time to decide the frequency of rest intervals, duration of rest intervals, number of rest intervals. All these things should be considered, so that suppose a worker, an employee has worked for 2 hours, and after that he is given a rest for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, he will again start with the fresh energy. So how many intervals he should be given? What will be the duration of the interval? what will be the numbers of that intervals. All these things have to be considered. Now, fourth one is motion study. Motion study means unnecessary motion should be avoided, because it not only consumes time, but the workers, if they are moving unnecessarily, they will be more tired. So, for example, the raw material should be kept near the machine or near the worker. He should not move to some distance to bring the raw materials. So this movement should be minimized. Next, fifth one is time study. Time study means how much time is perfect for one job to be done, and whether it is done, whether it is completed during that period or not. This has to be ensured. So time study. This is time study, that average time to do a job has to be calculated, and the worker should be responsible. They should be made responsible to complete the job during that time. Next is method study. Method study means to find out the best method of production and follow that method only. Next one, seventh one is differential piece wage system. As it is very clear from the title itself that the wage should vary according to the output given by the worker. If a worker is giving more output, he should be paid more. If a worker is slow, he is giving less output, his wage should be less. So this is differential piece wage system. Eighth is work study. Now, in the beginning, what I said, work study means the work study is composition of all these together: time study, motion study, method study, and fatigue study. All these combined together is called work study. Means we have to follow all these techniques. And the ninth and the last but not the least is mental revolution. Mental revolution means to change the attitude of the workers so that they feel attached to the company, they take more interest in the job of the company, of the organization. They should be motivated, they should be allowed to participate. So the workers' mentality should be changed. So these are the 9 techniques which Mr. F.W. Taylor suggested. So once again we will just count the techniques. What is it? Functional and foremanship. Means the job should be divided into 2 parts. One is planning, the other one is production. Next was standardization and simplification of work. Third one is fatigue study. Fourth is method study. Fifth is time study. Sixth is motion study. Seventh is differential piece wage system. Eighth is work study. Ninth is mental revolution. So this is in short the contribution of Mr. F.W. Taylor. Now the contribution of Mr. Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol has given 2 things. The contribution of Henry Fayol is in 2 things. So first one is he has given the functions of management, the 5 functions of management as we know: planning, organizing, directing, controlling. And so the 5 function of management was given by Mr. Henry Fayol: planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and coordination. In addition to that, he has given 14 principles. What are these 14 principles? The first one is principle. First principle is division of work. The whole work should be divided into smaller parts. And a particular person, if he goes on doing the same job for some time, he gets experience, he becomes expert in that work, so then he will be giving more output. So that is why he said that the work should be divided into smaller works, and one job should be allotted to one person who will work on that for a period, certain period. Next one is authority. Means that different levels of management. We know hierarchy of organizational structure. The people having higher positions have higher authority, and lower positions have lower authority. So accordingly, they should have the authority. Discipline. Discipline should be maintained. Discipline includes time management, the job type of job we are doing, to maintain the rules and regulations of the company. So discipline has to be maintained. Fourth one is unity of command. Unity of command means the worker should be getting instructions from one boss, so that they find it easy to follow the boss. Because if there are four bosses, whom the employees will follow? They will be confused. So Mr. Fayol says that command should be given by one boss. Unity of direction. Unity of direction is that organizations should have a single plan of action to guide managers and workers. There should be one fixed way of doing the job, or the objective of the organization should be one, united, and everyone must know it and follow it. Next is subordination of individual interest to general interest. What happens here? Mr. Henry Fayol says that the worker should be more interested in the organization's goals rather than their own personal goals. Maybe some employees, they'll think about increase in their salary, the facilities they are getting,